Just finally, no one from Labor's sort of saying publicly what they'd do if the referendum failed. Peter Dutton is, and he'd ultimately, if he gets power, hold a referendum just on Indigenous recognition in the Constitution, so not the voice aspect. There's been a response to that today from the Yes camp.
There has. The co-author of the Calma Langton report on setting up the Indigenous voice to Parliament spoke at the National Press Club today, Marcia Langton. And in answer to a question from Sky's Joel Philp, says she won't be helping Peter Dutton with his second referendum on constitutional recognition that he promised on Sunday agenda.
If the polls are right and the voice isn't successful, would you be interested in working with a future coalition government on a referendum for constitutional recognition as Peter Dutton has promised?
Not in the least. There's no point in a second referendum because it's not what we want. As Peter Dutton outlined the purpose of his referendum, or to the extent that he did, it is not what we asked for. So on those grounds, no, I'm not interested, and I know that over 80% of Indigenous Australians would not be interested. And we would communicate that very clearly to the Australian people should he ever be elected.
It'd be an understatement to say there's plenty of water to go under the bridge, the referendum, federal election, Peter Dutton winning. But what a weird referendum it would be, because large parts of First Australians in the country wouldn't want it, even though they want it to happen. They want something else to happen with it. So it'd be a bizarre one to hold in the end. I mean, maybe it doesn't.
It'd happen at the second election, right? So that would take some of the sting out of it.
And they might legislate a different local voice, not in the Constitution, legislate it as well. So a few other things that happen first, I guess. It's a big one for the crystal ball, what's going to happen in 5 years, but you like to stick to something a bit more short term.
Well, I think Labor's going to be returned, but it's really a bit of a race to see if the opposition has the economic conditions and the government stuffs up to the extent they can force them into minority to give them a chance the following time.
Yeah.
That's my crystal ball, but anything can happen in politics in a week, let alone a year. We've both been around long enough to know that, and government started to be a bit more on the slide. They were looking unassailable 2-3 months ago.
The opposition's found their attacking line on being an opposition, and they've had this sort of haven't they, with a sort of referendum that's flailing about.